For years now, YouTube's automated system has been consistently flagging my videos, specifically my short form content, as featuring minors and disabling the comments, and also potentially reducing the video recommendation reach as a result. But I'm the only one in my videos, and I am nowhere near a minor. I'm actually turning 30 this year, so clearly something is going wrong here. I didn't want to have to make this video, but I've been dealing with this issue now for over 2 years, and I'm worried it's unfairly negatively affecting my channel and other channels as well. I've spoken to YouTube Creator Support directly many times over the past couple of years. I have over 70 emails back and forth about this issue now, but I have still yet to get satisfactory help fixing the issue. So I'm thinking that making this video might be the only way to actually get something to change. As I'm sure you know, comments on YouTube are extremely important for creators and viewers. They let the creator build a community, interact with that community, and get feedback on their videos. They also help to show that viewers are engaged in the video that they're watching, and that seems like it could impact how the video does algorithmically as well. So comments getting disabled for no reason is a problem on its own, but more worrisome is that the videos that have this happen to them always seem to do really horribly in terms of views and recommendations compared to any other videos. And I've seen a huge drop off in views on videos that later had their comments randomly disabled like a year after I've posted them. So let me walk you through how I first discovered this issue, what I've learned about it, and the timeline of my dialogue with YouTube Creator Support over the past couple of years. Hey there, just a quick interruption from future Rachel. I'm currently editing this video that you are now watching, and I just wanted to give you a little bit of a warning that this video is going to be quite long. It's longer than I was initially planning, but I realized it felt important to include my entire sequence of dialogue with YouTube Creator Support to really just show how difficult it is for creators to actually get support when something goes wrong with YouTube's automated systems like it is in this case. I haven't seen any bigger channels talking about this issue at all. I've seen a lot of smaller channels though mentioning it and asking why no one else is talking about it and saying that they don't know how to get help. So I'm hoping that this video might help those channels as well. Please stick with me if you're interested in hearing the full story. And now back to the video. On June 2nd, 2021, I noticed that comments on a short I had uploaded that day were randomly disabled, and I had no idea why. I assumed it was some sort of innocent bug, so I chatted YouTube Creator Support, and they said they would look into it and get back to me via email. So they got back to me later that day. They said, "I see how important this is to you as a creator. As comments increase your engagement with your audience, let me shed some light into it." And they said that as part of their efforts to protect minors and families, we've turned off comments on tens of millions of videos that may put minors at risk. So immediately I was like, that's weird because I'm not a minor. And as a result, comments may not be available on some of your videos. So at this point, I'm definitely confused because I am obviously not a minor and I'm the only one in my videos. Little did I know at the time that this was going to be a very long-term issue for me and the start of a 70+ email dialogue with YouTube Creator Support. So for some background context here on why this is happening, the blog post that Creator Support linked me to in the email describes some of the changes that YouTube made starting in 2019 in response to an adpocalypse event. Now there have been multiple adpocalypses on YouTube now, but this one, there are a bunch of major brands that abruptly pulled their advertising spending after news came out that their ads were being shown on some videos that were endangering minors. YouTube, of course, was really worried about this because that is the main way that YouTube earns revenue. So YouTube panicked and quickly instituted new policies to get these brands back. And according to this blog post, these changes included disabling comments on tens of millions of videos featuring minors across the platform, as well as reducing recommendations for certain videos featuring minors. While of course YouTube should be protecting minors on the platform, the automated system they implemented to do that is clearly flawed, and I'm sure it's affecting many other channels as well. Problems with automated systems like this are a big issue for creators on YouTube in this way and also in the automated copyright claiming system as well, because you don't really have a way to talk to a real person and get your problem solved. It all comes down to what the algorithm decides, and a lot of times it doesn't work. The section in this blog post about reducing recommendations is particularly concerning to me because they're saying that we expanded our efforts from earlier this year around limiting recommendations of borderline content to include videos featuring minors in risky situations. And I'm not sure what the automated system identifies as a risky situation. So this was obviously concerning to me because I don't want my videos to be recommended less often because YouTube thinks that I'm a minor. So I tried to research this further, and I found this YouTube help article about child safety on YouTube. And in this section, they say to protect minors on YouTube, content that doesn't violate our policies but features children may have some features disabled at both the channel and video level. These features may include comments, which I've had happen, live chat, live streaming, video recommendations, how and when your video is recommended. Now that's a little bit scary because you wouldn't know that that's happening, and community posts. So since I have experienced my comments getting disabled, I was and am still a bit concerned about the video recommendations part here. This article also talks about how to protect minors in your content, so I assume that the algorithm for determining if a minor is at risk might draw from these points here, and one of the points is to make sure that the minor is supervised by an adult. So I am still in one of my videos, so I'm not being supervised if it thinks I'm a minor. It also says to make sure the attire worn is age appropriate, to avoid attire that is form-fitting. Well, that could just be any normal clothes. And it also says to not post content on YouTube that features minors that is filmed in a private space at home, such as a bedroom or a bathroom. And all of my content is filmed in a room at home. So if YouTube's automated system thinks I'm a minor, then it might also think that I'm a minor in a room at home, and it might reduce the recommendations for my videos based on that. So while I can't say for sure if I'm affected by the reduced recommendations, I know for sure that comments are getting disabled on some of my videos. So it seems like these other things could apply to me as well if the automated system thinks I'm a minor. So anyway, let me get back to the timeline of my chats with creator support. So after getting that initial email, I of course told creator support that I'm not a minor and I haven't been for around 10 years. Then they said, no worries, let me share some information to help sort this out. We encourage creators with minors in their videos and parents to keep comments turned off and to read our privacy and safety center. So they basically just ignored what I said and told me how I can protect the non-existent minors in my videos by disabling comments. They also told me to verify my birthday on my Google account just in case it's incorrect, and I had already done that. So I decided to wait, but then less than a week later I tried posting another short and I ran into the same issue. I uploaded the short and I posted it, and then I noticed comments were disabled. This time I realized that I could actually re-enable the comments myself, but every 10 to 20 minutes, the comments would just get randomly disabled again and I'd have to re-enable them, and then the process would continue. I just was fighting an automated system that was continuously changing back to disabled after I enabled it, and there was no notice when this happened. I just had to keep refreshing the page to check. So this is not a good experience, and I emailed creator support again, updating them that I was having this problem on another video. A few days later, on June 12th, they responded and said, great news, I've checked your video, and it shows that comments are now enabled. Well, they were enabled because I spent hours getting them to stay enabled. And they also told me to check on my birthday again, which I had already done. Then I responded that, yeah, the video has comments enabled now, but my issue hasn't been resolved. My issue is that every time I upload a video, I have to fight an automated system that keeps disabling my comments every time I re-enable them. So then after this, I didn't get a real response from creator support for over a month, just some emails that said they were still looking into it. But then I got an email that said they were still looking into it, but they provided some more tips for me. And one of those tips was that in order to better protect minors on YouTube, we may continue to disable comments on some of your videos. And again, I don't have minors in my videos, so yeah, it's not super helpful. Now, just to be clear, I don't blame any of the individual YouTube creator support people who were helping me. They were all actually really nice and trying to be helpful. It just, they couldn't be helpful within the bounds of the YouTube support system. So I responded to the email letting them know that the problem is still happening for my shorts. The normal videos, like full-length videos I posted, were not having comments disabled, but every time I uploaded a short with comments enabled, YouTube was automatically disabling the comments, so it was still happening now over a month later. A few days later, on July 29th, 2021, creator support got back to me again and said that they got an update from their internal team. So that sounded promising, but then they just said that their internal team informed us that you should now be able to re-enable comments on your own, and then they told me how to enable comments again. So at that point I thought maybe it's resolved now. It's probably not, but maybe it is. My comments seem to be staying enabled now on my existing shorts, so I'll just let it go and see what happens. At that point, I also hadn't realized that it could be affecting my video recommendation reach as well, so I wasn't as concerned as I maybe should have been. But then on August 18th, 2021, I had the issue again. I uploaded a new short and I had to re-enable the comments more than 6 times to get them to stay enabled after posting the video. So I emailed them again and said that, since this has been ongoing for months now, it really seems like this is a bug that should be looked into, and I'm probably not the only one affected by this automated system, and it's not a good user experience. And then they said, yet again, as part of our efforts to protect minors and families, we've turned off comments on tens of millions of videos that may put minors at risk. As a result, your comments may not be available on some of your videos. So we're just back at square one here. Then they said that they've checked the video and they were able to see that comments are still enabled. So they think the issue is resolved, which of course it isn't, because I keep having this happen again and again and having to sit for like 2 hours every time I post a short to keep the comments enabled is not fun. So at that point, I didn't really know how to respond. But a day later, someone from the YouTube support experience team actually jumped in to say that they would provide additional help because they saw that it is a recurring issue and they will get the internal team to investigate it again. So then a couple of weeks later, they got back to me again, said that they had an update from the internal team. After careful investigation, they have fixed the issue and comments should no longer be disabled on my video. I'm glad to know that your issue has been resolved. It was my pleasure to work with you on this request. So I was pretty skeptical that my issue was actually resolved, but I decided to just go with it. For a while, it actually seemed like maybe the issue was fixed. I might not have been uploading as many shorts, but I wasn't noticing the comments getting disabled as much, and it seemed okay, so I let it go. But then in May of 2022, so 8 months later, I had the same thing happen again. Now at this point, I was starting to get suspicious that maybe the comments getting disabled wasn't the only issue with being identified as a minor. Like I mentioned, YouTube also reduces recommendation reach for videos that they think have minors in them in risky situations, and I was beginning to wonder if it could be doing that for these videos as well. So this email in May of 2022 started another very long chain of emails with creator support about this issue. So YouTube creator support responded to me, we still disable comments under individual videos that may put minors at risk. Again, still not minor. And they said that currently the comments on the short I complained about are enabled, which they were enabled after fighting the system for a very long time again. They said that our system may have detected your video as content that has a minor or may put minors at risk, and that I have the option to turn the comments back on just like I did. So again, still stuck in just getting identified as a minor incorrectly by this automated system and having no way to address it. So I responded that I've verified that I'm the only one in my videos and I'm not a minor. So it seems like an issue that I'm getting incorrectly flagged as a minor. And when I had this issue last year, I was told that it was a bug and that it was fixed, but it appears it's still happening. And again, I explained that I had to spend a few hours re-enabling the comments until they stayed enabled, but it seemed like it was hurting my video performance having the comments disabled for a large amount of time. So a day later, they responded to me. They said that while they understand that the issue happened previously on another shorts video and was escalated and resolved by our internal team, they are unable to guarantee that this will not happen again on other or future short video uploads. And they said that our systems continuously validate content within the platform and disable comments under individual videos that have a minor or may put minors at risk. We may disable the comments feature on a video without a minor, just like in the video I complained about, but I have the option to turn back on the comments. And they said, our systems are not perfect, but rest assured, we are working to improve this. Well, clearly it wasn't happening very fast, and it's still having this issue years later, so I guess it hasn't improved so much yet. So I just had to let it go for the time being. But then 5 days later, on May 10th, 2022, I randomly noticed that the comments on that short video I had just posted a week earlier were randomly disabled again. And yet again, there was no notice, I just happened to randomly see it. So then I decided to look back at all of my old short form content to check on the comments. And it turns out that 3 old videos I had posted just randomly had their comments disabled again, and I had no idea how long the comments had been disabled on those videos for because there was no notice. One of those shorts was actually over a year old at the time. It was my most successful short. It had over 5 million views when the comments were disabled, and funnily enough, the official YouTube channel had actually shared that short in a community post. So obviously they didn't think I was a minor when they did that. So I emailed creator support again with this. I said I was able to re-enable the comments, but since I wasn't notified that they were disabled, I have no idea how long they've been mistakenly turned off, and it just really makes me not trust YouTube Shorts. And I asked if there is a way to permanently verify that I'm not a minor and make sure that the automated systems won't continue to impact my videos. So YouTube creator support got back to me a day later, and once again they said, as you may already know, as part of our efforts to protect minors and families, we've turned off comments on tens of millions of videos that may put minors at risk. As a result, comments may not be available on some of your videos. So yeah, just reiterating that again, even though I've constantly said that I'm not a minor. They told me that I can try to verify my age, which I've said multiple times before that I already did. So I responded, and I decided to ask some more clarifying questions to hopefully get more details. I asked why this seemed to be just happening on Shorts and not my normal YouTube videos. Are they treated differently? I also pointed out that in the blog post about YouTube's changes to protect minors, they said that in addition to disabling comments, YouTube may also be reducing recommendations for videos that it thinks have minors in them. And I was obviously getting concerned at this point that that could be happening to me on my videos and just across my channel in general. And I said this feels like a major issue to me because it's hard to trust that YouTube is fairly showing my videos if I'm being incorrectly flagged as a minor or as putting minors at risk when there are no minors in my videos. So then they responded a day later that all videos, regardless if they are shorts or not, are treated the same, and their system constantly checks the content on the platform and turns off comments on videos with minors that could put minors at risk. Again, not a minor, but I guess that has not been clear yet. And I'm still not sure why my shorts are the ones that I've noticed comments can be disabled on. If they are treated the same, you'd think that it would also identify me as a minor in my normal videos, and maybe it is, but it hasn't been disabling the comments. Then they said that they checked on the traffic of the 4 short videos I mentioned that had comments disabled, and they said that they all have views from the suggested videos since they were published, which means they were being recommended. But then they said that we are unable to check if the recommendation has been reduced, since there are also different factors that can affect recommendations. So I obviously knew that the videos were being recommended to some people. I was just worried about it being reduced based on that blog post, and the response that they gave me here was not very reassuring because they're saying that they're unable to check if the recommendations have been reduced based on this minor detection system. I decided to dig into the analytics a bit to confirm or deny the feelings I was having about the videos not being recommended when they're detected as having a minor in them. And I noticed that suspiciously, all 3 of the old shorts that I noticed that the comments were disabled on had a drastic drop off in views and recommendations on almost exactly the same date, around March 10th, and that could have been when the comments got disabled on all of them. I don't know for sure because I wasn't notified, but it seems plausible. So in my email to creator support, I brought up that concern, and I said that I understand you can't look into it specifically, it just makes me worried about future videos having the same issue because it keeps recurring on my shorts, and I'm not a minor, I'm almost 30, and there are no minors at risk. So they responded that they consulted their senior specialists, and they confirmed that the decrease in the views from recommendations of my shorts videos is working as intended and not caused by a bug, and that it's just generally how the recommendation systems work. But at this point, I'm still pretty suspicious, and I'm still pretty suspicious right now because they had just told me that they couldn't confirm whether drop-offs in views are due to the minor thing, and it just looked very suspicious on these graphs that it was dropping off at the exact same time, basically to 0 in suggested views right around the time it seems like the comments got disabled. I also noticed that looking at the really popular short I had, the 5 million view one that had the comments randomly disabled a year later, it looked like in addition to the recommended views dropping off at the same time, it was also just searches dropping off at the same time. So maybe YouTube wasn't showing it anymore in search results because it thought it had a minor in it. Now, of course, I'm not sure what's going on here. It could just be coincidental that every time I have my comments disabled, the video does worse or starts to do way worse than normal. But I've seen other creators talking about this as well. Not very many, but there are people saying that if they have their comments disabled, the video gets no views. And yeah, I don't know. It could be coincidental, but it really didn't feel that way to me. And actually right now, if I have a video that gets this comments disabled, I just don't bother posting it because I just know it's not going to do well. So 13 days later, May 26th, 2022, I posted a story on YouTube and the comments were again automatically disabled. And that was the first time that happened to me on something outside of a short video. So I was concerned again that it was affecting my channel as a whole. And I sent an email explaining that, and there was also no way for me to turn back on comments on the story. They were just permanently disabled. So on June 7th, 2022, they got back to me with an update. They said, after further investigation from our internal comments product team, we were able to reaffirm that these videos were identified as content featuring minors, which applies protections to keep minors safe. We're constantly working to improve how these systems function on our shorts videos and have made refinements to how they're applied. Well, I'm still being affected by this a year later after this, so I guess it still hasn't been fixed. So basically they just confirmed 100% that these shorts are being affected by this minor identification system and that I am being falsely identified as a minor and that there isn't a way for me to fix this. They then said that they do not expect further issues on my content. Well, that was incorrect. However, due to data retention practices, it's impossible for us to provide further diagnostics on the content shared in this case. So that means because a certain amount of time had passed, they were unable to confirm whether my video reach was actually being affected by being identified as a minor or not. And that is not super helpful for me. So I said it's good to get clarification on what happened, but it's not very reassuring since I seem to keep getting incorrectly identified as a minor and having comments disabled on my shorts. And I asked if there have been any changes made to the system since then that will make this no longer happen to my content going forward. And if not, it really feels like there should be some way to make sure that my content, which clearly doesn't have any minors, doesn't keep suffering due to this issue. Now, to give them credit here, they did get back to me and say that they re-escalated my concern about recommendations to their internal team, and they would get back to me with more information when they heard back. So then on June 11th, 2022, they responded to me again. They said, I can only imagine how you must feel right now dealing with this issue for a long time now. I really wish there was a way we could make things different for you. However, I'm afraid our team has already confirmed that the videos I shared were identified as content featuring minors, which applies protection to keep minors safe. So yeah, that's not super helpful for me. They said that due to data retention practices, I'm afraid it's impossible for us to provide further diagnostics on the content shared in this case. They also said that they looked into my YouTube analytics data by checking my watch time report for the last 365 days, and they're not seeing the drastic downward trend in watch time I'm reporting, and that the change looks to be in line with fluctuations channels see over time. So while that definitely could be possible, my channel did definitely start declining around that time period. It could just be because my content wasn't appealing to as many people. Of course, I recognize that it could be that, but it's just really suspicious on how it coincided with this becoming an issue for me. And as far as I can tell at this point, they're still not explicitly saying that being flagged as a minor couldn't be impacting my recommendations. They're saying that it looks like the changes in my video views could be organic, but that's not super reassuring, but I'm still not getting a solid answer as to whether I'm being affected by these protections for minors when I'm not a minor. So at this point, again, I just decided to let it go. It didn't really seem like I was getting anywhere, and my shorts weren't always getting flagged this way, so it seemed like maybe it was finally starting to be fixed. So fast forward now to February of this year, 2023, and I started experiencing this issue yet again. I actually did a little experiment this time with one of the shorts I uploaded that got flagged as a minor. I tried leaving up a short that had its comments disabled. I did re-enable them within the first couple of minutes, but the video still did really poorly compared to every other short I had posted recently, and it just seemed like it wasn't getting recommended at all. That same video had gone viral on TikTok with over 2 million views, so I decided to delete it. And then I tried re-uploading it on YouTube with a slight change. I just changed the color of some text, hoping to rejigger the automated minor detection system, and it worked. The video did not get identified as having a minor, and I reposted it a few hours after I deleted the initial video. And guess what? This time around, the video did a lot better. Still not amazing, but it did much better than the first time around, and it's still doing pretty well to this day. This is incredibly suspicious because usually if you post a video and then delete it and then repost it a few hours later, it would do much worse because some people have already seen the video, they're not going to click on it again, and they might be annoyed that you re-uploaded. So it's pretty suspicious that the same video, just with a slight color change on the text, would do so much better just a few hours later when the comments aren't disabled and when YouTube doesn't think I'm a minor. Again, this could be random, it could just be a coincidence, but I haven't been able to get a clear answer from creator support on this topic, and the documentation says it could be an issue. So that was on February 15th, 2023, and then 4 days later I tried to upload another short and I uploaded it as unlisted to see if it would be affected, and again the comments were disabled, so I emailed them again. Bumping the email didn't seem to work, so I ended up chatting with creator support in YouTube Studio in March, and then I started another email thread with them. 10 days after that March email, on March 28th, I emailed them again because yet another short I uploaded had its comments disabled. I didn't get an actual response back until June 8th, and they said they received an update regarding my appeal for my video comment section that was disabled, and they said that the internal team confirmed that the appeal has been approved and I can now allow comments on the shorts I mentioned. So I responded that while I appreciate the response in fixing the issue for those shorts, as I previously mentioned, this has been a consistent problem for me over multiple years and has yet to be fully resolved for my channel as a whole, and based on my experience so far, this will likely keep happening for new shorts that I upload. I asked if there was any way to know for sure that my channel is not being unfairly affected by this in terms of video recommendation reach in general, and also if there is a way to make sure that I don't keep having this issue long term. I then followed up because I realized that during the couple of months they were looking into this, I had 2 more shorts I uploaded unlisted that were affected and had the comments disabled, so I wanted to just share those as well to give them more data points. And then on June 15th, they responded, "Great news, we received an update from our internal team yesterday and we can confirm that your shorts comments have been enabled. You can re-enable your comments using this link, which just goes to where you'd normally enable comments in any video." They said, "Sometimes though, you may see your comments disabled. Please try re-enabling the comments again. And if you experience the same thing and the comments are totally disabled, please feel free to respond to us so we can further investigate and resolve your concerns. I hope this helps, and it's a great pleasure to provide assistance and information regarding your query." So that is all of my communication with YouTube creator support up till this point, and clearly they think they've resolved my concern, but they didn't actually address what I was asking about at all. I know I can re-enable comments, but the comments don't stay enabled, and even if they do for a bit, they sometimes get randomly disabled again long term, and they still have not explicitly said whether my video recommendation reach could be impacted because YouTube thinks I'm a minor. And that is still scary to me, and I'm sure if it's affecting me and my channel, I am not the only one, and it must be affecting other channels as well. And even if it's not directly connected like it seems it is, there is nothing to reassure creators that it's not happening. Creator support has not been able to 100% tell me that I'm not being affected by this, and there's nothing in the documentation that really clearly states how you can tell if you're being affected by reduced recommendations due to this minor detection system. So if the minor detection system is flawed, which it obviously is, since once again I'm almost 30, then that means that some creators might be facing an unfair algorithmic decline of their channels due to, for some reason, looking younger by YouTube algorithm standards. And it seems like this issue as a whole would be disproportionately affecting certain groups of people based on how they look, like maybe women, maybe people who wear less makeup, maybe certain minorities. It just seems like it would be targeting certain groups of people more than others, and that feels like it could be quite unfair and quite dangerous. If the automated minor detection system is biased in any way, which seems likely, then it could be a big issue for fairness on YouTube. So how do we improve this? Clearly, I've not been able to get anywhere by contacting creator support over the past 2 years. I'm basically back where I started. And again, I don't blame any of the individual people I've chatted with. They're all really nice and trying to be helpful within the bounds of what they can do. But the problem is that they can't do very much within the system of YouTube support. So it isn't very helpful. Protecting kids on YouTube is absolutely an important thing to do, and YouTube should have policies in place that helps to protect them. But it really should be done in a way that doesn't harm innocent creators who aren't doing anything wrong and just happen to look younger by algorithmic standards. One thing that could help a bit is just making it more transparent and actually notifying creators when they are being affected by this system. Because right now, as I've said, there is no notice when this happens. You just have to kind of randomly notice that your comments are disabled and connect the dots to figure out that you are being affected by this minor identification system. It would be nice if YouTube at least told you when your video is being affected in this way so that you know what is actually happening and you have an opportunity to assess it and contact support to get help for that particular video. And also it would be nice if YouTube actually told you when a video is affected by reduced recommendations based on this policy so that you can get help. I understand that this could be a tricky thing to handle in cases where there are actually videos that are endangering minors. You might not want to tell them that they've been detected, but it feels like there really has to be some way for innocent creators like me, who just happen to look younger, to deal with this and to know that they're for sure being affected. If it's impossible to improve the automated system and also be more transparent with creators who are affected by this, at the very least, it seems like an actual human should review each video that is flagged on a channel like mine, where there have been verified incorrect flaggings in the past. I've verified my age multiple times in the past, and I've also had creator support verify that my shorts are indeed being incorrectly flagged as featuring minors, yet this is still happening to me over 2 years later. I think in general, YouTube really needs to think about how hard these automated systems are for creators to deal with when something goes genuinely wrong. With both this and the automated copyright detection system, if something goes wrong, yes, you can contact YouTube creator support, but more often than not, they can't help you and they can just repeat back information you could find yourself on the YouTube help pages. Anyway, I just wanted to raise awareness for this issue. I haven't really seen it discussed too much, but I know there are other creators who are being affected as well, and I'd really like to see this addressed by YouTube. It's hard to remain confident in YouTube as a platform when issues like this are really not transparent and impossible to get actual help with.